Hey guys, it's Katie. I am here today to bring you a book review on the book I just finished, literally like within the last 30 minutes. This is called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Let me get out my trusty bibliophile journal that I also just filled out. My rating on this book, drumroll please, is 5 out of 5. This is my first like 5 out of 5 book of the year. This is, I mean, it's only my 3rd book of the year, but it's hands down my favorite one so far. I definitely recommend it. I think I would reread it. I mean, I don't, it's probably the type of book where the first time is probably going to be the best time, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's really good, so I would consider rereading. Let me give you some plot notes. I don't want to spoil too much, so this is like a spoiler-free review. But I will talk a little bit about the plot, so do with that what you will. This is about an A+++, like really famous retired Hollywood actress who tracks down a fairly like unknown small writer from this magazine company, and she insists that that specific woman from the magazine company is the one who does the interview with her. And the interview is supposed to be, no, Cannoli, what are you doing? Okay, I thought he was gonna go potty. The interview is supposed to be for the magazine, and it's supposed to be like the first time that she has talked to the press in years and years and years. And like way back in the day, she had a pretty scandalous life. And so it's this like really coveted, like big time awaited interview. But Evelyn insists, the famous woman Evelyn insists that it's this one specific girl. So the girl, whatever, they get in touch, the girl's boss like tells her this, and she's like, okay, like I don't know why she's requesting you, like you're great and all, but you know, it's like she's pretty new at the job and stuff. So she goes over to meet up with Evelyn Hugo. And pretty much right out the gate, Evelyn explains to her that she's like, so like she leads her there under false pretenses. And she's like, I don't actually want to do the magazine. And she's like, okay. And she says, I am here to tell you my story. I'm going to give it all to you, all the nitty gritty ins and outs of like my life. And I want you to be the person to write my biography. And the girl, the woman, her name is Monique. She's very confused. She's like, okay, like, you know, and like just what that exactly means and how much money that's going to be worth. But then like she's going to be risking her job for it. And it's like kind of complex. But Evelyn's pretty blunt and pretty like, she's just like, I'm not going to give you many details. Take it or leave it. Like I need it to be you and only you. And I need you to write my biography when I am gone. She says that a lot, like when I'm gone. And then she says how she doesn't want to do the magazine. So Monique basically agrees to like start this conversation with her and kind of like see what she's going to do about her boss at the magazine, like as it comes. And so she begins telling her story. And the reason it's called this is because Evelyn Hugo did have, sorry, I keep messing with my hair, 7 husbands throughout her lifetime. She was constantly in the gossip magazines. She was constantly like, you know, there's all kinds of different things there. And so she tells like all the different husbands and all the different stories and all the things that come along with it. Here's where I don't want things to be spoilery, but this, okay, so this is a small spoiler, but you do learn this pretty early on, so fair warning. Evelyn talks about the fact that she has a relationship with a woman. And the woman is another famous Hollywood actress. And mind you, this was back primarily in like the 60s. And then the Monique talking to Evelyn, that takes place in present day, which at the time was 2017. So, but Evelyn was real big in like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, etc. And so she has this relationship, or she falls in love with this woman. And so there are a lot of themes in the book about like LGBTQ stuff and being bisexual, and I had no clue, like no clue. It's kind of funny actually because, well, I mean, not funny in any type of way, but like in a bad way or whatever. But the last book I just read, Less, if you watched that review, that had a gay character, which I totally like didn't know. And then like this also had a character with that wasn't part of the LGBTQ plus community. I just thought that was cool because I had no clue. Anyway, that's where I kind of have to like stop explaining it to you because I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a specific reason. Here's what I'll tell you. There is a specific reason that Evelyn chooses Monique to be the one that she wants to be her writer. And honestly, this book started out like, okay, I would say the first half of this book was good. Super good. Like, one thing I love about it is it had short, captivating chapters. I love me short chapters. They just help me get through it faster. It's like a quick, easy read. It's interesting enough. It's, you know, so the first half, super good book. The second half, and specifically like the last, probably like third, holy cow. Like, I don't even want to call them twists and turns because it's not some thriller. It's not, but like, yeah, things that I didn't see coming. And like, I don't know, I mean, I guess you could predict them, but I also don't necessarily try to spoil things for myself or predict things. Like, obviously your brain thinks while you're reading and you kind of like entertain the different possibilities, but things that happened I did not see coming. It was good till the last drop. Till the last drop, like till the last word. This book was good. This book made me like, it entertained me, it made me laugh, it made me, I didn't cry, but there were some sad parts, but it definitely took me on the whole spectrum of emotions. But further than that, like, it hits on some really interesting themes. I forget if I mentioned this, but Evelyn outlives all 7 of her husbands. I think I said that. So like, it touches on like death. It touches on obviously relationships, both heterosexual and you know, in the gay community, or the LGBTQ plus community. Like, it touches on just so many things, and I mean, I'm singing my praises to Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was very impressed with this, and I will say that I had seen this book for a while. I know it's been like on the bestsellers and stuff, and honestly, like, the title on the cover never really drew me in. I thought that that title, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, was a little bit of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but it almost came off to me as like low-hanging fruit, or like a cheap headline, like, oh, that clearly sounds like some kind of scandalous, you know what I mean? It's like, book titles, like, it's hard because you want it to be something that's captivating and like cool, but not too like lay your cards right out on the table. Do you know what I mean? And the title like gave me that impression that it was just gonna be too, it wasn't. It was not what I expected. It exceeded any and all expectations. I would love to know, if you have read this, I would love to know your thoughts. She is also the author of Daisy Jones and the Six, which is another book that I've heard lots about. I have a copy of it that I borrowed from a friend. It's another book where like, it doesn't really intrigue me, to be honest, but it's one of those things where like, when enough people keep telling you it's good, you are like, okay. And now, having read this, I'm all in on Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like, I would love to know any other recommendations by her. Also, Daisy Jones and the Six is going to be, I think, a mini series on like Hulu or one of those. This, I think, would make an epic movie or mini series. Like, can somebody pick this up? Okay, that's all. I'm gonna stop right there. One last thing. There's also a section in my little journal there where you put quotes that like stood out to you. There were a few that I wrote down, and honestly, like, I don't know, they just kind of connected to me personally. They weren't necessarily great, like, isolated quotes. They just kind of resonated with me. But here's one that I will read that I just really like, and it definitely does resonate with me. It's a part where she's explaining kind of some bad stuff that happened with one of her husbands, and it's later on in her life when she's like actually working with him again and kind of reconnected with him. And Monique's kind of like asking why. And one thing that Evelyn says is, relationships are complex, people are messy, and love can be ugly. I'm inclined to always err on the side of compassion. And I just love that. And I also feel like I do. I try to always err on the side of compassion. My favorite quote of all time is, always be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. I just love that. Like, people are messy, love can be ugly. It's true. It's true. Relationships are complex. Like, oh my gosh, there's no such thing as black and white. It's all gray. It's all a load of gray. So it's best to err on the side of compassion. All right, now I'm out for real. Love you guys. Bye.